Hi, Precious. I'm just going to mute you and turn your video off, but thanks for logging in. Cool. Oh, cheers. Hi, Precious. I'm just going to mute you and turn your video off, but thanks for logging in. Hi. Hello. Just checking it's all live and good to go. Hello. That was me playing myself back. Let's learn to put it on mute. Okay. Hello. Just checking it's all live. There we go. Got lots of windows open playing the same thing. Okay. Thanks for everyone for joining us tonight. This is the 5th event of the Assembly Online programme, as I'm sure you're aware. As many of you all know, the programme was set up to bring events to you during isolation, free events, and the programme is supported by the Assembly House Trust. Before we start tonight's event, I just need to mention about our May events and, well, going forwards. So far, the events have been happening every Thursday at 7:30, but from now on, they'll be every 2 weeks. And just like everyone else, we are unsure how long the situation will continue, and we need to make sure the events are sustainable. So the events will continue, but they'll be every 2 weeks, and the programme will be delivered to the mailing list. So do make sure you're signed up to that if you're not already. I'll post a link in the chat for the mailing list now. And you can also find us on Instagram at arts@the-assembly house. Yeah, that was the main thing, just to notice that there won't be an event next week, just in case you try and tune in. But we really appreciate all the positive response we've received for these events so far. And we're pleased to see that they're reaching everyone all over. And for people posting in the chat tonight, like you can see people from Lewisham, Camberwell, NR2, Limerick, London, Norfolk, Norwich. Yeah, really nice. NW6, Norwich, NR3. Great. So on with tonight's event, the International Poetry Reading. Really happy this is happening, and it's hosted and curated by Kai Draper, who's dressed up especially well for it. And we have Ellen Renton, Gabriego the Banjo, Precious Okapeshi, and Jordan Hamel and Sinead Overby. So the first 3 are from, so just seeing people posting in the YouTube chat. Margate, Great Yarmouth, Barlam, all locked into. That's great. Kai, Ellen and Gabriego were all at the UEA creative writing course 2 years ago, graduating from the MA. Precious is from Lusaka, Nigeria. Jordan Hamel and Sinead Overby are from Wellington in New Zealand. So it's really great that everyone's been able to come into this group call together, and that there's a lot of people watching it from all over. So without further ado, I'm going to attempt to pass over to Kai, who will then be the host of this until the end, when I'll be back to say a few more words. But until then, thank you very much, and see you soon.
Okay, I think I'm out of mute.
Yeah, I'll just make you host.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Oh, my coloring is really weird. I look blue.
Okay, did you get the host thing?
Ah, cool. Okay, so am I like live on YouTube now?
Yeah, you're live now talking.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay.
Hello. Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and you can see it. Sorry, just to remember, you can see the participants at the bottom, and you're a host, so you can put people on.
I can.
So
yes,
you can
I can do that.
Put anyone on and then spotlight them and unmute them.
Okay. There might be some teething problems with the tech.
Yeah.
Some people know I'm not the best at technology. Don't say yes, indeed. Well, my clippers broke just before lockdown, and obviously sharing clippers in this time is probably not a very good idea. Anyway, so this is like the weirdest. Oh, by the way, before I do anything, let me just show you what's happening here. I thought I would get dressed up because there's no other opportunity in the world at the moment. And as you know, I like a bit of dressing up. So I've got the 3-piece woolen suit on. I'm gonna look at this. Can I just show you this? Look, going down. Yeah, that's right. Look at this. Keep going. Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm doing it, baby. I'm going in tonight. Why not, innit? Why not? So it's weird because I keep flitting between the YouTube page and the Zoom page, and the YouTube page is like 30 seconds behind. Anyway, just gotta go in, I think. So big thanks to Henry, who you just heard talking, for organizing this, putting this whole series of events together. It was well exciting when he asked me to do it, because I thought, yeah, the kind of potential of the internet in this very insert adjective time is massive, right? So we can think slightly differently about how to do this kind of event. So I was, Boyega and Ellen, two very good friends, two awesome poets who I asked very quickly. Then Precious in Nsukka, as Henry said, in Nigeria, who I read a few of his poems online. We followed each other on Twitter. And then I asked him to read, and I was like, he ain't good. I'm just some random guy. I'm like a pretender coming through, sliding into the DMs. Anyway, very, very, very pleased to have Precious with us today. This is Precious's first ever poetry reading. So big, big shout outs to Precious. And then I contacted Jordan and Sinead in New Zealand for a bunch of reasons. The first one being time difference, being a good thing. And then also obviously Anglophone poetry, but they've also set up a journal in New Zealand called Stasis, which they put together to make sure that their poetry community and people didn't lose out too much during the lockdown, because obviously people who would, make their living through gigging, make their living, or, supplement their living through gigging, there's basically no work. So I've really rated that. They're amazing poets. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a bit of a rundown of who we've got with us today. So the order is, I'm going to do a couple poems, couple new poems, world exclusive. If you're trying to do eye contact on this, I guess you just have to look straight into the camera. But that's not eye contact for me. Like it's probably not really eye contact for you. So I don't know. We'll just see. This is like literally the weirdest thing I've ever done. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to do a few poems, then we'll have Ellen, then we'll have Precious, then we'll have Jordan, then we'll have Sinead, then we'll have Boyega, last but not least, and then Henry will say a few words. In between each reading, I will read a proper bio for the poet. I'm obviously not going to read a bio for myself. I'm Kai. I'm a poet. I live in Norwich. I'm from South London. And it's calling me more than ever. I've got poems around and about the place. Google me. You can Google me. I also organise free poetry workshops at the Book Hive, or I was before this whole thing happened. So I'm going to start with a new-ish poem. And I won't say too much, but this poem is called Portrait of a Cousin from Memory. And by the way, at the end of this, like obviously normally in a poetry reading, there'd be, well, you'd hope there'd be some sort of kind of applause, well, I don't know about applause, polite clapping. Obviously you can't do that today. So if you want to like go mad in the comments, that would be lovely. I'm sure for everyone, including me. This poem is called Portrait of a Cousin from Memory. Swag, chuckle, blue jean for a mega drive, cream smooth garment, living room, sweet boy. Say the telly is deep as broad cousin, Sonnet getting coin on a Saturday. Now this, how 90s, say no one is too good for you. The way he ties my Guna scarf, pristine, level up. Two-step ridden like a wave, I can't. I'm begging him to turn it down. I'm 8. His name is hidden in a crowd, in a zone. Never get caught with a knife, cousin. On sofa, French kissing, I witness, say pulling, I can't. Machino ads line the walls like art. Arch perfection of the bull's cap. His best friend dies in a crash. Level up. Pub, naughties, say hear me, I'd die for you. My shirt in his fist, but I can't. In spoons, both listen and fight. His texts from the suburbs in the morning, all 8. Cool. Well, that was that. The bizarre thing is, when I now flip between what I can see and what the YouTube is doing, YouTube is actually still playing the poem. This is so weird. I'm just going to keep going. Okay, cool. I'm assuming there's rapturous applause around the world for that poem. This next one I'm going to read is oh, thank you. I've just had through on the Zoom chat, there is rapturous applause. Thanks, Sinead. I appreciate that. This next poem I wrote, I was lucky enough to kind of get into this email chain, or not get into, but start an email chain with 2 amazing poets, who one of whom I've never met and one of whom I've only met once, and that was at a reading in Yarmouth that Lottie put together, that brought people from all over Europe, but also Yarmouth. It was an amazing event, and one of the readers there was Mira Matar, and she put a thing out at the beginning of April, which, as all of you I'm sure know, is National Poetry Writing Month. And we got together with an amazing poet called Ellen Dillon, who, if Mira and Ellen, if you're out there, hello, and thank you so much for the email thing we've been doing. It's meant so much, and it's been incredible, like just having this impetus to write poems pretty much, not quite, but pretty much every day. Anyway, this one I wrote on the 9th of April, and that's, so far, that's its title, is 9th of April 2020. And this poem, I'm reading this poem because it's different to my normal poems. It's a bit longer, but this poem is really an imagining of the celebration that we can have at the end of this period. And I don't know about you lot, but I miss my friends and family, and I miss hugs, you know, big old family friend hugs. Anyway, this is slightly related. I will put this rascal energy into upstart paper cuts for poster promotion of a wild and ravishing dance in the sun. All my eggs in one basket, throwing the basket off the bridge onto the A11. Make reproductive love with danger. Fuck forever in the ear or as long as the juice will allow. A lot can happen in 2 minutes, as we all now know. Falling in love is not like falling through yet another trapdoor. It's much more like trap, complicated, developing, understood by nothing but its own frameless portals, and even then, wainy-edged. Last night for the big words. As for the celebration, allow me and my friends the usual hard drugs in name-tagged party bags, boundless city sex gardens, plus the nous to say interstices out loud. Spaces the texture of our favorite resistance, the power to make art from sequestered carbon, revolution to suit the needs of a mood where the dying of the wankers is easy on the eye. And by the way, may the concept of Monday morning cease for Adam particularly. As for me, I'd like to go back in time and feature in the video for Wannabe and hit David Cameron's weird lips with a pinger, fashioned from double wrap elastic band, cheap red balloon and blue raspberry panda popped bottle. Fuck David Cameron particularly. Those Chelsea boots really did my nut. I wonder who he'd love when fleeing. But more than anything, I want to take MDMA with my mum and listen to everything but the girl and have the most luxurious come down where doom is just a random word that was used by folks for backwards mood. In the morning, the neighbors congratulate us on our choice of bedtime, bring us the perfect eggs or not eggs. Telepathy is real. For the duration of the afternoon, we walk through the summer on the sofa in our minds and bump into a select few exes. Give them thanks and respect their choices. Discuss it afterwards on a dappled veranda. Tropical flavor Lucozade in the fountain. As the evening draws in, the dead pets rise from their graves by the crab apple tree, shudder off the mulchy sleep, and after a convivial catch-up deliver us a shameless household classic, a cappella, while filling our lungs with compost. They plant us, bulbs, in bed. The rabbit taps a lavish BPM. We know this to be primordial trap, the one that lives before and after. They are pulling the earth back over, catching our light through the grains of sand that pock the turf like stars. Thank you. Cool. That's me. Thanks for listening. So that's just to get everybody warmed up. I will now, it's so weird reading poems and then just seeing a screen. Yeah, bizarre. Anyway, I will introduce our first proper reader. Ellen Renton is a poet from Edinburgh. She has performed her poetry at venues including the Roundhouse, the Royal Albert Hall, and the Scottish Parliament, and at events such as Verb Festival, Hidden Door Festival, and the First Minister's National Advisory Council for Women and Girls. She co-founded In the Work spoken word theatre company, with whom she has written and performed 2 Edinburgh Fringe shows. Her work has been featured by Gutter Magazine, Young Scot, Radio Scotland, and BBC Authors Live, and she was selected for the Playwright Studio Scotland Mentoring Scheme 2019. She is the recipient of the Unlimited Emerging Artists Award and the Creative Inclusion Fund from Creative Scotland in support of her debut poetry show Within Sight. You can catch her on Twitter at Ellen_Renton. She is an amazing poet. She is an incredible person. I'm very glad to say she is also a really good friend. I'm trying to unmute her, ask to start video. Hopefully that's worked. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I'm now going to mute myself and hand over to you, Ellen.
Am I making noise?
You're making noise,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Kai, you have to click on the top right-hand corner of Ellen's video and put spotlight on. So
Spotlight.
Yeah.
Spotlight video. There we go.
There we go. That's spotlight.
And now I'll mute myself.
Okay, thank you, Kai. Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to read 5 poems. The first one is called Bit. And it's got a Scot for any international viewers. Kai, I'm joking. I think he knows this one. But the first line has a Scottish word in it, which you might not be familiar with. Pluk, which means a big pussy, is it really? There's not a nice way to say it. This is Bit. I'm sat across from you with a face on that my brother taught me. He wears it when he has eyes on a ripe pluk in my hairline. Each of his pupils a VHS that needs rewinding. Sorry, it's just, you've got a bit. I can't tell if it's a loose thread of foam from your coffee or a dreg of something else you've done today. You've got a bit of something just above your lip. Maybe a fleck of toothpaste that went unwiped in hurry. Yeah, it's just, you've got a, no, other side. Other side. It would be so much easier to touch. Up a bit. I'm not sure what it is actually, but you know when you just get a wee bit of, it's just a wee bit of something, up a bit. When this face makes Play-Doh of my brother's features, I know he's about to reach out and burst. Oh, you've gone too far now. Down a bit and to the left, but very slightly to the left. This table seems miles wide. My arms have been clumsy for as long as I've had them. Sorry. My left, so you're right, not your left. That's what I meant. Even friends whose talk has taken them everywhere haven't made their minds up about this touch. And we have not yet made our minds up about whether we are friends or not. Yes, you've got it, nearly got it. Give it another wipe. And again. Still there. I've forgotten what we were talking about. Time has split into before and after the bit. Yes, there you go. You've got it now. There you go. It's gone. It's gone. This next one doesn't currently have a title. It was written very recently, as you'll probably be able to tell by the subject. I keep thinking about falling. In my quiet moments, sat reading or making sense of the radio. The ungraceful kind of way. Quick, gobsmacked skin. Panic to shoot the skies white. I keep lifting a leg at hurdle height above the leanest stone step, afraid to stake my claim for a siren. I keep taking care at the request of others. I send my best, whoever she is, and turn my mood on the words that turned on me. I keep feeling guilty for a plume of blossom. I keep hearing news by accident, like forever strolling into the setup of a joke at my own expense. I keep my hands in my pockets like I can't trust them. I keep reaching the bottom of every thought because the later self I'd left them for turned up early. I keep still by the window, The wind will move whether I join the dance or not. This one is about long distance friendships. I wrote it a while ago, but I suppose most friendships are long distance at the moment. And it's about the beauty of those kind of friendships, in that when you do spend time together, it's kind of almost perfect quite often. So this is called In My Best Dreams. The weather doesn't warrant my smart coat, but I wear it. We steam to the peak of the only hill in Norfolk, and running is a freedom, not an ugly rush. You are full of ice cream and your own jokes. High branches catch ribbons of your rarest laugh, the one that starts in your shoes and rattles your cheekbones like the bars of a cell. You tell me to read poetry in place of mediocre minds, and I marvel at your answers to what I haven't asked yet. There are no trains to catch. We make a game of renaming colours, of wishing well on the boys that blew their chances, of finding each other's faces in the shape of the countryside. I mention the rumours of rain. The sky doesn't flinch. So normally when I'm not at home or not doing poetry, I work in a library. And I've been trying to write sort of diary poems about things that go on, because libraries are fascinating places, and a lot of interesting things go on. This is one of these. It has quite a self-explanatory title. It's called The Morning After the 2019 General Election. I should be grateful, but quiet doesn't sound the same when it wasn't begged for. My spinny chair hits all the speed bumps in the carpet. No one touches the biscuits. Every smile is the funeral kind. Eyes bear the bulk of the work and leave the mouth hanging. Sorry, but not sure what for. 3 boys come in, and boredom builds them a competition out of how loudly they can growl, grunt, burp without being asked to leave. Yesterday, I might have intervened, but I let them play at making noise and picking the flaked skin of the sofa. I have one more poem. Before I read it, I should say thank you for listening. If you have been, I've got no way of knowing if anybody's listening. And enjoy the rest of this brilliant lineup that Kai has curated. This last poem I wrote, I was working with a musician recently called Lord of the Isles, a Scottish electronic musician, and so we made this piece together. I wrote this to go with a piece of his music, and it's called Inheritance. It's about one morning being at the beach in Edinburgh at the seaside, and thinking about how perfect it looked, and just kind of being in disbelief at the fact that it looked this perfect for everyone who saw it. So it's called Inheritance. I must be the first. Surely no one has let the cold jig their knees quite happily. Lined up a ruler against the seam where the sky on a too full stomach tucks itself into the sea. Only I see the water, sugar glazed to stillness, like two taps with a spoon would split its lid in two. The wind that burls me does not feel second-hand. It's as true as a first word that repaints the front room it cuts through. Sound stretched to an echo, so no one remembers how language used to land. The sand is out the packet new, branded with my shoes. Maybe the sun is knackered too. Like each of us, wrapped up in our work and ourselves, dreaming of being shelled from our backpacks and swallowed by the beach. Maybe it's a parent too tired to keep playing who lies through their teeth, because all pain is small change in the cost of wonder. Rising somewhere else while we see it sleep. Returning its light in the nick of time so that not a grain is lost, not a bloat of cloud burst, not a wave out of place. I must be the first. Everything I have was given to me clean, like the sky burns just to blush my face. I have held it up, ungloved, crushed seaweed beneath me, breathed in the beach until I have a new set of lungs. But I have never wiped sunrise down my jumper to get rid of fingerprints. I never took my shoes off as I came in. Thank you. Back to you, Kai.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you.
I think I'm up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thanks, Ellen. Bloody hell. That was so good. Yeah, that was just real good. Not going to say too much. Thank you so much, Ellen. God, that was beautiful. There's so many lines. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, everybody. Eye contact. Next up, we have Precious Okpetchi. Precious studies biochemistry at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. He is a recipient of the 2020 Singing Bullet Workshop Scholarship, which he tells me has got him very busy at the moment. So we're lucky to have him. His works appear or are forthcoming in Memento, an anthology of Nigerian contemporary poetry, which, by the way, I was reading this very morning. Very good. That's out with Animal Hearts Press, I believe. Precious, correct me if I'm wrong. It's a really nice book, and Precious have got a couple of poems in that. Brittle Paper, Kissing Dynamite, The Shore, which is where I first came across Precious, and Palette Poetry. He is assistant editor of 2035 Africa, an anthology of poetry, and I believe he's just become also an editor for a poetry and science journal called Consilience. You can follow him on Twitter at Okpetchi Precious, and also on Instagram at P_Okpetchi. So I'm going to try and get Precious up now. Precious has been unmuted. There's his video. Now I can spotlight it. There we go. And I'm going to go on mute. Okay, everybody, welcome Precious.
Thank you, Kai. Hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. I will also be reading 5 poems. The first one, Other Principles of Flotation. It already looks like a science work. I was thinking about one of the principles from our science textbook, and I was like, oh, I could bring out something from here, and yeah, I wrote about it. So, okay. Other principles of flotation. No matter how less dense I am, gasoline, drawn blood, feathered wings, spirit being, the air still finds a way to keep me grounded. No matter how dense I become, dead ego, fractured ship, box filled with stones, the waters still find a way to float me. There is a fail-safe embedded in my veins, and no matter how much suffering, I don't die. God. This is not the image of you on the cross. This is not the crossing of the blood sea. Remember, I was there at Eden, at the beach. And no matter how dark the city, the sun found a way to peel it off, shadow by shadow by shadow. My second poem, Deciduous Petal, I wrote it for a friend of mine, Ernest. We're very close. He recently graduated, so he's left me alone here in school. But I wrote this poem in memory of him, the time we spent together here. Deciduous Petal. I have been told feet do the same for souls. The way you hold concern for me, knowing the genderless lines in which we stitched through each other isn't seamless. This is you, pattern and color in every tile. Of all springs, you alone don't fall. Know this, the way stars do clouds that let them shine through. Sway your hips to every pulse of the heart. Tie scarves and love the world with your every moving part. I call you the way autumn called deciduous petals. You define seasons. And know this, no soul carved out bodies to be named into. They just love, like you. My third poem is Trace. I think I was really thinking about my childhood here and when I was growing up and how I used to run around and everything. Yeah. Okay, Trace. For every story there has been, history came before its birth. And history tells us there was no beginning, that the roots didn't sprout from a seed, that the foundation wasn't laid after the earth was dug, that the woman was not made from a single rib, and we didn't love the second our hearts skipped. For every scar there has been, there was first this little boy who thought he discovered something new. There was first this little boy who thought wounds were little boy things, thought they would always heal with time, and he could run fast home. Who laughed because he could still take hits, who scratched at his wounds because they itched, and knew not to commit to memory what pain was to the frail. For every scar there has been, there was first this little boy that moaned. Okay, this is my last poem, The Poet's Dreams. I wrote this during this lockdown. I just thinking about how everything is not how it used to be. It's kind of hard. It is hard. This poem is titled The Poet's Dreams. The Poet Dreams. The poet dreams everything will go backwards, and you, a perplexed observer, will see the leaves rock the wind, the roots hold the earth, see the sun hover above the white clouds, and the waters no longer occupy most of Earth's vastness. To mortals as times when no thing falls down back, you will be dipped in quicksand, and the doves will dive and have the last say on every dead. The red dogs will bark at the houses that shelter them, dare not go close, scamper off when the door ajars, and the leash will belong to the child. You have to be still. You have to pray. But God will be full of neglect. There will be no ark. No one drowns, save for you. No one will know everything went backwards, save for your eye sockets. Thank you. Kai, I think I'll hand over to you now.
Okay. I think I'm back on. Cool. Oh my goodness me. That was Precious's first ever poetry reading. Just FYI. Incredible scenes. Cool. Thanks so much, Precious. Thank you so much for joining us. What an honor and a privilege to be the first audience for those beautiful poems. Yeah, it's a bit mind-blowing. Okay, so third up, we've got Jordan Hamill. Was the 2018 New Zealand Poetry Slam champion and competed in the World Poetry Slam Championship in the USA, in LA, I believe. He is the co-editor of Stasis Journal with Sinead, who you'll hear from afterwards, and the co-editor of a forthcoming climate change poetry anthology for Auckland University Press. He has poems in Sport, Takahe, Poetry New Zealand, Mimicry, Kissing Dynamite, OK Donkey, Queen Mob's Tea House, and elsewhere. You can follow him on Twitter at Jordan Hamill _. I'm now going to try again to pass over to Jordan. Something magic should happen where we go. I asked to start video, and there he is.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. Hey.
Hey, what's up? Oh, awesome. I'm on the screen. Thank you so much for having me, Kai, and for putting on this event. This is wonderful. Although I feel like it's a bit of a stitch up. You're sort of putting me here after these beautiful poets with this stunning poetry, and I'm going to ruin it with my filth, but that's okay. We're here anyway, and it's fine. I'm going to read 3 short poems for you today. This is called There's No Sex in the City Without Carrie Bradshaw. Loving me is a laxative tea pyramid scheme. There's opportunity for those with all the wrong reasons, like selling vapes to school children or waiting outside theaters showing 50 Shades of Grey, living on the damp brows of pre-DSM parents on the verge of liberation, ready to build the leather industrial complex. But be careful. I'm single-ply toilet paper. Irritating, undesirable, occasionally had for $1.99. Treat me vigorously and I'll dissolve in your hands, leaving you with a mess to clean. I want you. Like an abandoned warehouse rave wants a decent night's sleep. Like multinational corporations want the rainbow tick. Like Sarah Jessica Parker wanted a 3rd Sex and the City movie. Obliquely, and to the detriment of those around me. But it's hard for me. I'm so awkward. If you Googled awkward synonyms, there would just be a picture of me avoiding eye contact with an involuntary erection. I'm so awkward. If you carried out that same joke premise with a different, more obscure search engine, you'd get the same result. But if you Googled other search engines, I'm not sure you'd find anything. So maybe it's better to trust me, to let me perfectly match your mood and tone, to pour Merlot and affirmation into your mouth, until you're fed up with life and slip into me. The best thing about love is those you leave behind. The worst thing about love is those who leave you behind. If I won the lottery tomorrow, I'd buy a bed big enough for us to explore our most ambitious positions. I'd use the remainder to pay my exes a decent living wage and make them watch. Kia ora, thank you. Okay, 2 more poems for you. This is my first Zoom reading. It is such a surreal experience, and it is early morning over here in New Zealand and the sun is rising just outside of my window. It's all very emotional. It's all good stuff. Okay, this is called When You Leave, Take the Netflix Account With You. I've never felt comfortable walking through graveyards. Tombstones of our digital journeys serve to me as innocent suggestions, a cartoon horse being led to slaughter. And what was the name of that kid from Stranger Things? No, not that one, the one with the lisp. When you realize I'm only 63% compatible with your previous experiences, change my passwords and put the scepter of an important religious figurehead through my iPad. I want to forget you in an iconoclastic way. Watching the Holy Grail on VHS while drinking Smirnoff out of the actual Holy Grail. But this isn't some technophobic poem about how we're more connected than ever, but also more alone. Notifications are my love language. When you leave me, pull the fiber out of my walls, leave my router at a haunted yard sale, slumped behind tape decks, waiting for an analog seance. Changes are just endings impersonating progress, like Blockbuster Video restructuring itself out of existence or online encyclopedias. I wish my butt was a USB port. I wish all the world's content could be systematically pumped into me. I wish I warranted repeat viewings. Algorithms tell me I'll get hooked on this gritty new drama about a troubled marketing exec who's trying to juggle being handsome with a secret underground juggling career. But I can never watch John Hamm stare broodingly at pictures of Coke cans without thinking about every time the power went out at 2 a.m. and we became each other's battery. There's no value in nostalgia. It's like being horny for fax machines or the days when you could only see Dame Maggie Smith glower in historically accurate disapproval once a week at 8:30 p.m. while being periodically interrupted by advertisements. The difference between emotional and artificial intelligence is only one has the grace to let you forget. You previously watched me forgetting we had dinner plans with your parents. How about supporting me selflessly through difficult periods? You liked being taken for granted in emotional indifference. Why not try giving me a second chance? When you leave, take the Netflix account with you. Watch hours of meet cutes and misconnections, reconfigure your habits until every trace of me is buried so deep, no amount of cliffhangers or new seasons could ever reach the surface. Cool, thank you. Oh man, the silence is so weird. I'm just gonna read one more poem. Thank you again so much to Kai for putting all of this on. This is such a cool experience. I'm really excited to see my partner in crime, Sinead, up next. Okay. We are the happiest couple at the party, gorging on its adoration. I'm Jay Gatsby, and you're also Jay Gatsby, and this isn't even the Roaring 20s. We are both Harry and Sally at all times always, and we are eternally meeting. We will die together in a murder-suicide pact, or we will not die at all. Flesh jammed tight against shared coffin boards like 2 hams in a vegetable drawer. Earthworms excrete the remains of forlorn singletons and low-grade soil to make room for our love. Mourners ditch their graves of their loved ones, give us all of their flowers. We are the prom queens of the cemetery. We hate losing each other in the crowd. Tests and interrogations hide behind the hummus and carrot. If what we have can be found, it can be lost. It can be stolen. Being in love at a party is so decadent it's obscene. It's like serving roast panda cutlets on a bed of terminal illnesses at your charity gala. It's like using smoke signals on a desert island to change your Facebook password. It's like leading a gift horse to kombucha and making it drink, or looking that horse in the mouth and having an honest man-to-horse conversation about its inconvenience of its presence in a penthouse apartment. It's like buying that horse a set of gold teeth and re-gifting it to the couple fighting a few floors down. We have so many single friends. They bow and buckle with spark and enterprise. We collect them like trading cards. We hold their failures close. We play on their Tinder for fun. We find another single friend. Recently divorced, nothing happened, they just sort of drifted apart. We sigh and drink and laugh. We kiss each other nervously. Kia ora, thank you all so much. This is such a cool thing. That's me, thank you.
Oh God. Okay, I think I'm up. Yes. Thanks, Jordan. That was awesome. That was really brilliant. Thank you so much. And I know it's super early, man. It's like 6:30, 7:30 in the morning for you guys, isn't it? So yeah, it's much appreciated. Yeah. I love, there's a good spectral range going on. The people are really getting a bang for their buck here, even though there's no bucks involved. This is all free. So I would not like to introduce, I'm going to put Jordan on mute, and I would like to introduce Sinead now. So Sinead Overby, whose whakapapa, whose ancestral lineage is written here, but I don't want to, I will let her do that better justice than I can, is a writer and research assistant living in Wellington, New Zealand. Her poetry, essays, and short stories have been widely published. She has experience with editing and is a founding member of Rangatahi o Te Pene. I hope I've said that right. A group who in 2019 self-published Terito o Te Harakeke, a collection of Sinead's poetry and writing by Māori authors in response to the protection of Ihumatao. Sinead, I really apologize if I'm saying, please correct me. Sinead works at NZCER, which I think is a government department. I know that she does education research. We spoke on Zoom the other week. I don't feel like I've done that bio justice. Sinead, please put me right. I think Henry is going to be, is doing some, oh, has she fallen off the face of our, how do we get Sinead up?
I'm here, I'm listening, but she's on the participants. So if you just go click participant, she's at the bottom.
Oh, she's at the bottom. Oh, so it's just me being an idiot. Oh, there she is. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me?
There we go.
Okay. Awesome.
Hey, Sinead, you're up. Awesome.
Am I making noise?
You're making noise. Hang on.
Awesome. I mean,
I'll
yeah,
spot
it's
that.
early, so okay. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
that. Yeah, that was, I realized after I sent that to you that that's all like Māori words and hard to pronounce if you don't roll your R's, but it's all good. You did a great job. Yeah, so I am going to thank you also to everyone else who's reading here today. This has been an awesome morning and a good way to wake up. And thanks to Jordan for going before me. That was really hilarious. I'm going to read some kind of different tone of poetry. One of them might make me cry, but that's all good. The first one is, I wrote it for a Wormhole project. That was like a digital writers festival collaborative project, and 4 artists from Australia and New Zealand got together and I wrote a poem. One of my friends did some music, another person did code, and another person did visual art, and we put it together, and it was all around the theme of wormholes. So this poem doesn't really have a title, but yeah. This is how time works. We see everything at once. We don't separate moments. My mother walks the driveway singing in her latter years with laundry basket, and at the same time I am being born, and she takes photos at my graduation and my second graduation. And at the same time she stands on a high school tennis court, and somewhere still she doesn't exist, and neither do I. The fabric of time folds over and tears open, and there is a tidal wave rising here soon. We can feel it. I photograph climate strike picket signs, and at the same time, photographs are still being invented, white lace on pieces of card, and at the same time, my body decomposes underground. Worms crawl through my eyes like I am a castle. If we travel through time like space, we won't always like what we find, but we can hypothesize anyway until the cows come. This is how time works. We go back and back and back. My ancestors stand on the shore welcoming and get shot for it. I see blood spots on the sand. And at the same time, the ship never comes, we thrive. And at the same time, we fight our cousins anyway over Kaimoana. If we travel back far enough, there'll be things we don't want to see. Time phrase tattered at the edges, and I want all of it at once enveloping me. I hunger to know what has happened and what might and what will, to find a wormhole in the atmosphere, force open and explore it, even if it hurts. This is how time works. We escape often into fantasy. My mokopuna wear solar-powered shoes that let them fly, and at the same time, I never had children. Me and she sit silent in a doctor's office, and at the same time, my dad is a young man cycling the North Island, and then that island's being fished from the sea. Sweat on Maui's forearms, the sun beating and being beaten, all of these moments woven into the fabric of me. The tarmac rumbles beneath us. Time always tears apart, she says, when planes lift off into the sky. And I am so scared of the world just ending. Sometimes I feel like I might disappear. But then again, we're all still here. I carve my initials onto the arm of an airplane seat, and we shoot through space, me and she, with hands clasped tight. We're at the beginning of a journey, and the middle, and the end. But in this moment, we're just talking. Time weaves around us in our pocket of sky. And if I could have anything in all of the parallel universes, it would be this. Thank you. So next there's some Māori words in there. I forgot to introduce my whakapapa, so I whakapapa to Rongo Whakaata, Te Aitanga Mahaki and Ngāti Porou, which are 3 iwi or tribal groups around the North Island of New Zealand. They're all actually based in the East Coast where I'm from. Yeah, so there's a few Māori words in my poems, and this next one is called E Kuia, and Kuia is the name for grandmother in Māori. This is also the only thing that I've written in isolation. Carry me home, E Kuia. I can be light and tuck myself into your wing if there is space for me. We could travel on the same 4 winds. When you passed, I didn't know how to keep in contact. Let me use page and pen and paper. Let me use words and thoughts and murmurs in the back of a library where I find you on a page sat waiting. E moko, I have been calling you here for the longest time. Talk to me now, E Kuia. I am ready to know what I haven't before been able to hold. Give me what I can carry in the safety of my embrace, nothing more. I do not need all of it yet, and we both know there are things I will not want to take. Stay with me here, E Kuia, in this beach house. I am lonelier than I ever was, and I need helping. Listen to my whispers. Hold me safe until I wake on the floor with no one around me. Tell me, have you ever felt like this? Let me make you a cup of tea, Nanny, weak with a splash of full-fat milk. We'll play cards in the lounge while you sing in that ancient vibrato. You could tell me things and I would listen, and I would try to tell you things. Do you know who I am, E Kuia? I have always been secrets held tight. I have always known what I could not say, holding your hand inside of churches, sitting on a fold-out bed to listen to you pray. Your Bible is a thing, E Kuia. Your Bible is a reason I've bitten my tongue for all these years, gnawed at my tongue till it bled and fell to the tiles where it lay writhing. I've been trying for so many years to mop up the mess. One day we will know each other so well. One day I might let you meet my wife. I want us to walk our coastlines together where our ancestors walked, where you rode your horses, revisit landscapes from all other times. They will still be there for my returning. I want you to stay with me all my life. Join me on my walk, E Kuia, from Wainui Beach to Waipiro Bay, resting at Tokomaru. Show me the old station where we lived before the cities, Remind me of myself. Weave our stories like korowai around my shoulders, and then could we just keep walking across all of the beaches, our footsteps falling into sync, leaving trails behind us. Thank you. And I'm going to mute myself now.
All right, yeah. Thanks so much, Sinead. That was very, very beautiful. Yeah, amazing. Amazing poems. And the crowd went wild. Yeah, it's nice just to take a little minute after poems, isn't it? God, thanks everyone. This is really oh, I've still got Sinead up. Sorry, maybe I was talking there and it looked like Sinead was still on the screen, and that just maybe looks weird. My auntie Chris says very moving. Hey Chris, pleasure to have you. Right, I've just conscious that we're slightly over time, so let's get on to our final reader. Boyega Odubanjo is a British Nigerian poet born and raised in East London. His pamphlet, While I Yet Live, was published by Bad Betty Press in 2019. That pamphlet is one of the best poetry pamphlets you're probably ever likely to read. If I were you, I would buy it now because it's likely to go out of print. It's incredible. That's from Bad Betty Press. He is a resident artist at the Roundhouse. You can find him on Twitter at Odubanjo Boyega. I will now try and do the technology thing. And please welcome to the stage.
Hello.
Odubanjo. Hello, mate.
Bonjour. Cool. Sick. Hello, everyone. Bonjour. This first poem that I'm going to read is called Babel, and I initially wrote it kind of in response to gentrification in East London, but it possibly holds some relevance at the moment. Babel. Everybody going gone, people packed went outskirts and elsewhere. Sound bin bagged, aerial come down, music plucked from sky and scattered, tower come down, lives in matted woven nylon zipped, uncle cousin gone, bass in backpacks, trunk rattle hushed, couldn't no centre ever hold all that racket, no. Woman on the 67 bus with the stories, she's gone. Estate scrubbed clean of its grimy self. Loiter song gagged. Gap-toothed whistle no more. Song not ever. Pastor on the corner mistakes empty for heaven. Communion run empty. No two or more gathered. No bodies here. Only ghosts and memory holding this nothing and nobody place up. Cheers. This next poem is called In My Country. In the poem, there is a reference to the rules of the game blackjack, which is similar to Uno, but isn't Uno. It sounds like a comment on the monarchy, but it isn't. In my country. We can be a bit boisterous, says who, loud, sure, as the back of a double-decker. It's just our culture, a few things to know. Bend your knees when you greet. Don't ask too many questions. It's left of the dealer. Twos on jacks, no jacks on twos. The queen's a slag. I don't make the rules, I just want to win. It's not that deep. A man talks about fucking, another man talks about mothers. It's not a party until they're arguing about church and we're cooking our meat over burning documents. See, I know a guy, he knows a guy can get you whatever. A clean cup of piss. Mangoes in November, we got you. Just need you to pledge allegiance allegiance to the singlet, to the oversized luggage. Cheers. I can see Kai's face, and he looked very pretty. This next poem is called A Story About Water. And I've got one more poem after that. A story about water. So there's a scorpion and a frog. They're trying to get across this river. The scorpion says to the frog, "Take me." The frog says, "Are you sure? Because if you sting me, we'll both drown." The scorpion says, "Of course I'm sure." So the frog takes the scorpion and the scorpion stings the frog. And of course they both drown. Wait, actually, it's two sisters. Sorry. Two sisters trying to get across this river. And the river says, "I'm going to need something in order for you two to get across." The first sister says, "Take my mangoes." The second younger sister says, "No, you can't have my mangoes." And she tries to go across, and of course she drowns. Besides, the old man already told them, "Don't go into the water." He said, "Don't you know that that is how they took us?" The younger sister probably forgot, because the old man said a lot of things. He's the one who said 2 by 2 for 40 days. Sorry, different story. This old man said, "If you want the water to stop, then plant a cross in the yard and sprinkle it with salt." But it didn't stop. Whole time the sun and ocean are chilling on a bench. The ocean invites the sun to its house. The sun says, "How come you never come to my house?" The ocean says, "I'm not sure if I should come." The sun says, "Of course you should." The ocean, "Are you sure there'll be enough room?" The sun, "Of course I'm sure." So the ocean goes and fills up the whole living room, says, "Are you sure?" The sun says, "I'm sure." So the ocean fills the corridors, stairs, bedrooms, the whole gaff. And so that's why the ocean is here and the sun is all the way up there. Cool. Gonna read one more poem. And it is called White Bronco. Thank you to Kai and Henry and Assembly House and all the other readers. It's very, very decent. White Bronco. Sat on something expensive, seatbelt holding everything. Remind you to drive slow so we can keep the windows down. Slow so sun don't blur into moon, so the street lights don't come before we're ready. If I'm right, then we still got at least a couple songs left in the tank. I know very little about cars, but I know enough to know I'll probably look really cool when I let my arm hang out the passenger side. I smoke but do not inhale. I know everybody's watching now, watching as we drive slow, slow across the tarmac now. No, we could go wherever now. Take me to the park, to the river, to my mother's house. Promise me you'll drive slow. Started driving so long ago, we could forget where we came from if we wanted to. No, I want you to know exactly where I came from. Tell me they'll keep watching till we get to where we're going. Tell me that you'll drive slow, still driving, and it's darker now. Lights been chasing us a long time. My mother, she's been calling me. I pray that you drive slower now. Tell my mother I won't be coming home. Tell me that you'll drive slow. I want you to never stop. Never stop driving now. I want you never stop. Tell me that. Thank you very much.
Oi, what the fuck? Sorry. Bro, very good poems. Oh my days. Thanks, Boyega. Okay. I hope you guys are feeling all right. That was some quite serious poetry. You just happened to happen there. I don't know how to speak. It's now 9:15, so really, you know, it's going to be that weird. There's going to be a weird sort of fade out where we just like close our computers rather than chat to people nicely who appreciate the words. But everybody. Henry's going to follow, like finish off in a minute, but just wanted to say a quick thank you to everyone for logging in. Thanks. Hey, Mum. Hello, Mum. And also thanks to, you know, everyone else who joined. Thanks to the poets. And I'm going to now pass over to Henry, who. Oh, also thank you to everyone who was posting in the ongoing chat there, especially Mary Ann Oye. I'm sorry, I can't say your. I'm sorry, I just absolutely fucked up your surname. But I would like to say a big thank you to you. I think you know why. Cheers. Henry, I'm now going to pass over to you, if that's possible. Is Henry here?
Hello, I'm here.
There he is. Cool.
Yeah. And you can, if you make me host, and then that should do it.